I'm just going to be checking on the computer just to make sure that the stream is a little bit better, if that works for you guys. Mike, if you're here and you followed me on over, I appreciate it. Again, you guys, I apologize for the delay. I'm not sure why we're getting the delays that we are, um, but we're definitely getting them. So I know it's driving us all crazy. Okay, let's just check this to make sure that we're good. And as the comments come in, I will be able to see them. Yes, perfect. All right, we're golden. Thanks you guys for bearing with me. Welcome to today's Q&A, part 2. We're going to be answering some questions on some of the qualifying questions, as well as just kind of give you some update on what's going on here at Decker. I mentioned earlier that we do have our calendar contest that's coming, and that is due by the 31st. So if you want to submit a picture into the calendar, please, or the calendar contest, please get it over to us at marketing@deckermail.com. Now, if you're posting it in the Facebook group, no worries. I have gone ahead and collected a lot of those and inputted them into our contest. Now, I just am realizing that this is, I don't think I can change it though, but okay. Anyways, I won't worry about it. Michael, did you just send me one? And let me look. Yes, awesome, good man. Beautiful. Do you have it in color? I like that, by the way. If you have it in color, then as of right now, that's what we're requiring. It does need to be in color. It does need to be landscape. So if you have the original, that's awesome. I know Jesse sent me one the other day. Jesse Carter sent me one the other day, and it was gorgeous as well, but it wasn't in color, so I made him go send me the original one. So I'm just, causing problems that way. All right, so perfect. Thank you so much for getting that over to me. Yeah, you can either send it to me through the Facebook Messenger, or you can go ahead and send it through marketing@deckermail.com. I am talking to you, Mike. How did you know? I see it on Facebook over here. I pulled it up on the computer just to make sure. So, hey, Amy's here. Good deal, good deal. Okay, so just wanted to get that out there one more time. If you saw the first trial of the video, then awesome. If otherwise, we're gonna just kind of kick this off and answer some of these questions for you guys. We talked about pre-qualifying. Yes, you have to have a valid Class A CDL. No permit, like the permit isn't sufficient. Have to have that valid Class A CDL. You must be a recent graduate of a PTDI, or you must be a recent graduate of school in order to get your Class A CDL. Whether or not you have a little bit of experience will determine if you have to go with a trainer or if you don't, if you can avoid it. Thank you, Mike. All right, Mr. Michael Rogers gave me the real deal. I wish I could show it, but because I'm on my phone, I can't really show you all of those pictures. But we'll get all of them and we'll get them uploaded and we'll be showing off the pictures. Maybe you guys could help us vote too. Do you think that's a good idea, right? I'm going to go with that. I'll get that submitted. Okay. So for qualifying questions, must have a valid Class A CDL and be a recent graduate of a school or have experience in order to qualify for the position. Obviously, if you have experience, like over 3 months of experience, you won't have to go with a trainer. But if you have less than 3 months of experience or are a recent graduate of a school and got your CDL, then yes, you will go with a trainer for about 2 to 3 weeks. So you have a week-long orientation, we pay you $1,000 for it, and then you have 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer, we pay you $700 a week while you're with a trainer. Okay, I'm going back to the preventable accidents since it was a question that we've been getting quite a bit. So yes, if you have a preventable accident, which means that you had you were either ticketed or you had somebody was towed, somebody was injured, or if there's a fatality, or if really the expenses were so high that the insurance deemed it DOT recordable, those are DOT recordable qualifying factors. Whether it was preventable or not would be more of like the ticket thing, and not always the case, but it does have an effect on it. So those are some of the qualifying factors. No major moving violations within the last 3 years, no DOT recordable accidents within the last 3 years. If you have a DUI, DWI, and it's over 3 years old, we should be able to work with it, unless it was in a commercial vehicle, and then it's not going to work. What is the pay rate to be a trainer? I think It's a good question. Right off the top of my head, that changed last year, and I just got to remember. I believe it's $2,000 plus the pay per mile. Let me double check to make sure that I'm not full of malarkey here. Um, okay, let me double check here. Plus rate per mile. So let me double check, and then I'll confirm that with you. Okay. So I'll come back to the training. While you're training as a trainee, it's $700 a week while you're with a trainer. Okay. Let's see, what else can I tell you here? Qualifying factors: must be at least 21 years of age, be able to run intrastate. No, like you can't be on any type of probation or registry or anything like that within, like, currently. You can't have any of that current, and I think it has to be at least 5 years old if you have any. So I'm just going to double check on this part just to make sure we're on the right page. And then, sorry, I want to make sure that I'm quoting you right on that, so I'm not filling you full of malarkey. So we'll come back to that trainer question here in just a minute. For trainees, though, yeah, it's about 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer. $1,000 for completing the 1 week orientation, $750 per week for every week that you're with a trainer. Okay, whether it's B flatbed or refrigerated. Now, once you're done with that, once you're done with the training, then you're guaranteed the $1,000 a week, unless you're in a different division that bumps it up. But that's just kind of a safety net, and I use that all the time, because if you think about, like, use that phrase all the time, because if you think about it, especially coming into the winter weather, you kind of need that safety net, not knowing where the weather is going to get in the way. We've definitely got some snow here in Montana. I believe Big Sky area, they've gotten over 2.5 feet just yesterday. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure I saw Steve Stone driving through it the other day. So yeah, please be safe. Check your tire chains. If you have not already done so, please check them, lay them out, make sure there's not any breaks, kinks, anything like that, additional wear on them that would make them unsafe. Now, whether or not you chain is up to you. Chaining is a safety call. Like, you do it to get out of trouble, you don't throw them to get into trouble. So please make sure that you're making the safe choice on that one. If you have experience training, you have to wait a year, usually a year or 9 months at least with Decker, in order to qualify for that. It's a good question, but that we do just so you have the Decker, you're familiar with the Decker way of doing all of it when you're training. But I think it's 9 months. So I double check with get a hold of Michael Brunn. Michael Brunn is the head of our training department, and he'll be able to answer that for you for sure, on experience level. What else can I tell you for tarping and securing? If you are in the flatbed division, for those of you who are looking to get into flatbed, you will need to go through our tarping securement class to make sure that you have the Decker way of doing things and know that process. Because every company is different. You guys know that. We want to make sure, peace of mind that you're trained properly and know how to handle all of the different types of freight that we haul, which is mostly building supplies. So steel beams, coils, sheetrock or wallboard, truck wash or car wash, interiors. I mean, all kinds of different things, but mostly building supplies. So we'll teach you how to do all that securement training. If you go into our YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of those tutorials on there as well. Okay. Hey, Mike, is this a better connection? Because it sure seems like a better connection to me compared to earlier. I don't see the hiccups, so I'm hoping we're good. That means it's my computer. Okay. What else can I tell you for running lanes? Depending on where you live and what division you chose will depend on where you're running. If you live in the West, say you live up in the Northwest, around Seattle, Washington, or Missoula, Montana, then we can get you home every 7 to 10 days in that area in order to get home on a weekly or on a 7 to 10 day basis. If you're out 2 to 3 weeks at a time, we figure about 3 to 4 days home in that same location. Now, if you live in areas of the Midwest, we can get you home on a weekly basis. We can also get you home every 2 to 3 weeks as well, if you prefer to stay out a little bit longer. Can you have them call me, please? You bet. Oops. Training. You bet. Let me make sure I write it up here. Okay. Yeah, I'll have them call you and then we can figure that out, see if it'll work. Okay, because you're coming up on that. So it should be golden. All right, excellent. What else can I tell you? When it comes to orientation or the hiring process, we go through all of the basics with you. Making sure that you have a valid license, that you're the right age. We go through your work history. We get your employment verifications. We run your PSP report. I apologize. They're coming from all directions right now. So they're coming. We've got, what else am I missing here? Pre-employment screening, the MVR, your employment verifications. We like to get all of that done ahead of time so that you don't have any questions on whether or not you would qualify or not coming in. So that being said, when you fill out your application online, which you can fill out at drivedecker.com, then we'll have a recruiter reach out to you, kind of go through those basics, make sure that what you're looking for is what we have available, because where you live, we might not have that division that you're looking for available. So that's something we obviously want to double check ahead of time, make sure that what your expectations are meet our expectations and what we can provide you. And then our equipment, of course, top of the line equipment, when we have APUs and inverters and refrigerators and microwaves and double bunks and televisions. I mean, 22-inch television with EpicView satellite TV. We have, I think I mentioned bunk heaters. We have the TransFlow Geotab system. So you can get your paperwork in there, your communications, your e-logs, free Wi-Fi through that. We have, of course, air ride seats. I said double bunk. We have the CB units. What didn't I say, you guys? They're very well equipped. They're equipped with all kinds of goodies. Mostly 0579 Peterbilts, some 740 and 760 and 740, 780, and 860 Volvos, depending on which division you're looking at, and what year they are. And then we have a few Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions as well. So nice trucks. They are all automatic, and they are all equipped with all of those amenities. So cool. And newer model. So you're looking at, I think the oldest right now that we have is 2019, but those are the ones that we're getting rid of. Average age is right at about 20 months. We were doing a little bit younger age, about 18 months, but it has taken, the last 2 years, it's taken a while to get some of those trucks in. So yeah. Lake Iowa area. Okay. Do you know what month you took that? Because we were, for those calendar pictures. Sorry, I'm timeout. I was just talking to Mike. He said that he took the picture that he sent me through Facebook. And I just want to know. Because we are collecting those pictures and getting those submitted into the calendar. Thank you, by the way. Okay. And all right, so what else were we talking about? Am I missing anything on the qualification? So once you're qualified, once you're approved, we have you do your drug test and your physical. So the urinalysis and your physical we do ahead of time. Of course, if you have a recent physical, we can use that. And then if you aren't able to do those before you come into orientation, then we'll schedule them for a Monday for those of you who are doing the full week orientation, students. If you're starting on a Monday or Wednesday, obviously we will do those accordingly for our experienced drivers. And then when you come to Fort Dodge, well, first of all, we'll get you either a rental car or a flight to get you to Fort Dodge, whichever is more convenient for you. We take care of that cost. However, I do want to mention that we have a repayment agreement. So if you left us within the first, say, 6 months or so, you'd be responsible for part of part of that expense. Like every month we knock $100 off. Anyways, that we have that repayment agreement out there. So I just want to make sure that you're well aware of it. So you'll want to make sure that cost stays down just for your own benefit too, as well as ours. Let's see, what else can I tell you? We'll take care of your hotel and your meals while you're here. We pay you $500 for the orientation if you're an experienced driver, because it's about 2.5 days or so. And we pay you $1,000 if you're a student, because it's a week-long orientation if you're a student. And then, like I said, if you've got securement training on top of that for flatbed. What else? The orientation when you arrive in Fort Dodge, the first morning, like I said, you'll do your physical and your drug test if you weren't able to do it ahead of time. Otherwise, you'll just have your urinalysis or your hair follicle. We always do the hair follicle when you come in, whether it be Monday or Wednesday. And then you'll go through some of the company policies, procedures. You'll meet with a lot of our department heads, get to know them, those who are you might need to communicate with. You'll meet with your driver manager, usually the second day, usually Tuesday or Thursday, to go over some of, well, just the introduction. Go over your expectation form too, if you guys remember me mentioning that. That expectation form just kind of gives us a good feel for what is, if it's going to work for you or not. Thanks, Mike. Good afternoon, Big Houston. How are you? Good. Okay. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I got you listed then and submitted. Well, it will be submitted here in a minute. What else can I tell you? Orientation. Like I said, we take care of the meals, and then we get you seated. You'll meet with your driver manager, go through that expectation form, which we'll talk about your rate of pay. Now, the expectation form, I do want you to know that your recruiter will go through that with you prior to coming to orientation. And then when you are in orientation, you'll sit down with your driver manager and go through it another time, just to make sure that we are all on the same page of what it is that you're going to be doing, what our expectations are, what your expectations are, and making sure that we can uphold to them. But again, it's just a check and balances for us along the way, so that we are all talking the same language. We all know exactly what you're doing, what you plan on doing, all of that good stuff. So that is that's usually, I believe, the second day. And then you'll go over the benefits and like the 401k, the medical, dental, vision, that kind of stuff. You'll meet with the benefits coordinator as well. And usually Andrea or Courtney will walk through that information with you. And then you'll get into your truck, get yourself situated, and either Clarissa or Katie will seat you and kind of go through a checklist on the truck, making sure that you know how to run everything. You'll have gone through the TransFlow system and how to work that. By the way, you guys, if you have questions at all about any of the things you go through orientation, you have an ART ambassador. This is a driver ambassador. So when you come aboard, there's a lot of information you're given in a short amount of time. We understand that. You'll do an online orientation before coming in, so you'll have some information ahead of time. So hopefully you absorb it a little bit easier once you're here. But you're still going to have questions, and that's okay. That's why we have the ambassadors to kind of walk you through the next few weeks or so in case you have questions that arise. Don't be afraid to call them, whether it be about the benefits or getting your paperwork in or trying to figure out how to access your scorecard or safety scores or something like that. Your scorecard safety, by the way, those are extra bonuses. But I don't want you to be afraid to reach out to them. And everybody's ambassador is a little bit different. We have people in the recruiting department and retention and fleet managers and safety and HR, like all across the board, management who all participate in the ambassador program, something that we volunteer with to make sure that it's an easy transition for you. Okay, sidetracked again, imagine that. But I don't want you to be afraid to go through or talk to anybody about that. You'll be given a ton of contacts just in case you need anything. All right, so that's the process. And go sit in your truck and get yourself situated, get yourself unpacked. Then your fleet manager will reach out with a load and put you to work. right? Sounds about right. Unless you're going with the trainer, and then you'll go out with the trainer for a couple weeks. Big Houston says just getting loaded with steel. Awesome. Speaking of flatbed and steel, fantastic. Getting loaded, getting situated. Where are you headed then? Are you headed to Arkansas? Back and forth? Or from? Awesome. Okay. I think that's pretty much it to hit on the orientation process. I did have a couple announcements that I'm pretty proud to announce. So, Women in Trucking, Decker Truckline is now part of the Women in Trucking organization or association, which the mission there is to encourage the employment of women in the trucking industry, within the industry. And that's not just driving, but it's pretty much in all of it. So whether you're a driver manager, you're in the safety department, you're one of our drivers or tarpers, mechanics, it is women within the trucking industry and recognizing that and the overall mission. So we are very excited to be part of that. We have, I'm not sure if there's a department that we don't have that we don't have females in. So proud to be part of the Women in Trucking. This is our first year that we're able to participate in this, and we hope to continue for many to go. So speaking of participating at Best Fleets to Drive For, we were nominated again. That is super exciting to me. Thank you for the nomination, you guys. I believe it was Donnie again, so I appreciate that. Yes, not yesterday. Last week, that's what it was. Last week, Ken Cromwell met with the head of the Best Fleets Carrier's Edge, Mark Morrell, and they met on a podcast and discussing kind of the processes here at Decker and what we've worked hard to obtain here in the last 90 plus years, what we've worked hard at, and how we've gotten better in some areas. Communication is something that we are constantly working on. I think within the industry, that's something that will never be perfected, but always strived for perfection. So we are continuing to work on that. And I can say that just in the last, well, even in just last couple of months, the improvement on it. But there's always areas for improvement. We appreciate all the communication that those who've given us to give, so that we can help to better, yes, squirrel always, so that we could better improve in supporting whatever that might be, whether it be communications or equipment wise or load, whatever it is. We appreciate that. Word count is a great tool for us to use, but even just getting a hold of us through Facebook, on the Facebook group, or reaching out to us individually is always helpful. So learned a lot through the process. And when we're filling out the paperwork for the Best Fleets to Drive For, so once you're nominated, then you have like this really long questionnaire that you fill out. And when you're going through that, that's like a mini department process. And Tammy, she pretty much she pretty much gathers the information and orchestrates it all, because it really is a project trying to get the information from all the different departments for the statistics, all the numbers that we need in order to provide it to Carrier's Edge for this and for the Best Fleets to Drive For it. And so that's just the proof of what we've done and how we've improved. Those are, I don't even remember how many pages. It was quite a few for each department that had to be filled out, but it gave us a lot of insight, especially for those of you or those of us who are in different departments that didn't realize the extent that some of the other department heads and their staff have to do in order to make things run smoothly. So I can tell you that it is an eye-opening experience. But what was super cool is, and if you watch or listen to the podcast, it's both in video and podcast or MP3 form, but if you got a chance to listen to that, Mr. Morrell actually made the comment that they were surprised to see Decker coming up so high on all of these checklists and the criteria, as well as things that they didn't expect, because this was the first time that last year was the first time that we had ever been nominated. and they're not used to seeing a first-time carrier excel in all of these areas. So it was pretty flipping cool. It was super cool to see. Love to hear it. And we knew some of our successes because we were getting so you can order the results once you've completed it. So we ordered the results and the input from all of our drivers, and we could see all of these wonderful things that were said, which is again just phenomenal. Also areas that we can improve on. So it's a teaching and a learning experience for us for sure, so that we know where we can focus and improve on. But yeah, pretty cool. All right. Moving on. I think I hit on all the criteria, but if you guys have questions or whatever, you let me know. Yeah. Mike, I believe it's 2000. So she's double checking right now because that's what she said. She said, it's been a while. So let's just double check here. Oh, this is slow. Okay. Yeah, so pretty sure it's 2000 a week. That's per week. We're paid, by the way, every Friday, direct deposit. All of your paperwork that's in on Sunday night is paid that Friday. Sorry. So, okay. Yeah, so all your paperwork. Now you're guaranteed a minimum, depending on what division you are, refrigerated, flatbed, where you live. Because there are some areas, for instance, if you live in the Chicago area and you're home on a weekly basis, that's an area that we can guarantee a higher rate of pay for the flatbed because those loads are paying more. So then obviously our guarantee to you is higher as well. Now your rate of pay per mile is based off of your experience. The guarantee is going to be based more off of the freight rates. And then you'll get the better of the two, depending on, from week to week. So paperwork in by Sunday night, paid Friday for it. Cool? Okay. Mike, I am just trying to get this answer for you. It might be something that I have to come back and video separately so that you can have that answer, or just message you, but I'm pretty sure it's 2000. Also, we had questions on Drivewise and BestPass. I know I'm like skipping all over the place, but these are questions that we've been getting, and I just want to make sure I answer all of them. Drivewise and BestPass. Drivewise, it's for way stations. BestPass, it's for tolls. It covers tolls and whatnot. So there is a difference between the two, but if you guys have any questions on it at all, please reach out to the safety department. It's 515-574-4327. 515-574-4327. Yes. If it's a TransFlow related question, talk to the safety department. Always report to the safety department, you guys, for TransFlow questions. Okay. I know a lot of you guys are putting them in the Facebook group, but sometimes that isn't, sometimes yes, they can answer it, but if you're not reporting it to safety, we don't know that there's a problem and they can't fix it. They got to have that information in order to fix anything. But the transponder that's located in your truck, that's the BestPass. Okay, so it replaced the pre-pass for tolls. Now the Drivewise, that's going to be the scales. Okay, and that's integrated into your tablet. There's no additional like physical responder for that. Okay, if you have questions on the BestPass, get a hold of Tanea Miller at 515-227-7306. 7306. Okay. Dang, I was hoping to have that answer for you. I was. Also, right now give me a sec. I thought I saw the fuel solution. I'm going to double check on that and see what that is for our owner operators and lease purchase for the week of the 24th. It usually comes out on Monday, Tuesday. 67 cents is the fuel surcharge right now. 67 cents. It continues to climb. Looks like we just received, there's a notice that there's an accident on Homestake on I-90 in Montana, There's no Decker involvement, so thankfully no Decker involvement. However, one of our drivers just passed a jackknife truck. There's a pickup horse trailer upside down and a van that's smashed in between. And that is on I-90 eastbound in Montana. The left lane is moving. They'll shut till they shut down to clear it. But other than that, it's right before the parking area, he says. No Decker involvement, but it is I-90 eastbound in Montana. Like I said, we've been getting a lot of weather here in Montana right now, so no surprise. Any other weather related postings? Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see. Let's see if I've got anything here for you that might help for those in other areas. We've got some beautiful weather down in the Oklahoma, Dallas area. I'm jealous of that. Lots of wind in the Boise area. Cut Bank. Yeah, of course. Thankfully, most of you guys don't run. Billings, another really windy area going into Wyoming. So watch I-80 there. Seattle's getting a lot of snow and rain. Kansas City's beautiful for the forecast today. Oklahoma looks like Oklahoma is absolutely gorgeous. Probably Oklahoma, Houston, most areas of Texas, Albuquerque, Phoenix. Those guys are just bragging about their weather today compared to the rest of us. Not that the rest is that horrible that I can see, but Salt Lake is getting some rain. Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep you guys updated as weather comes along too. But other than that, looks like that's about it. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Mike, I'll get back to you with that information so that I can just confirm that it's correct. But as of right now, I believe it's $2,000 for the trainer. For those of you who are looking to be a trainer here at Decker, we do require and have Mike reach out to you. Michael Bruns reach out to you so that we can get those answers for you. Sound good? All right. Thank you for, as always, bearing with me. But we will see you soon. All right. Take care, you guys. Bye.